just starts racing, you feel completely helpless, and the first question that hits you is, okay, how do I get them out? Right. So when someone is taken into custody, their world just stops. But there's a process, a legal system to navigate this whole mess. And the very first step, that first little glimmer of hope, is something called bail. And trust me, understanding it is your key to taking real, effective action.
So let's get right into it. What is bail, really? It's a word we hear all the time on TV and in movies, but what does it actually mean when you're the one dealing with it?
Okay, the easiest way to think about it is like a security deposit. You know, like when you rent an apartment. The court agrees to let a person out of jail for a while. In return, you put up some kind of security, usually money, as a guarantee, a promise. A promise that the person will show up for their future court dates. If they go to all their hearings, you get the security back. If they don't, well, it's gone. The whole system is really built on that one simple promise, to return.
And this isn't some new idea, you know? This has been a core part of the legal system for a very long time. The main thing to remember here is that at this early stage, bail has nothing to do with whether someone is guilty or innocent. It is simply a way to make sure the accused person will be there for their trial.
Now here's where it gets a little more complicated. Not all bail situations are the same. In fact, the most critical thing that determines everything is the type of crime the person is being accused of. This is where the road to getting someone out can split in two very different directions.
And this right here shows you that fundamental split. Offenses are divided into two big buckets. For bailable offenses, which are the less serious ones, getting bail is an absolute right, period. But for non-bailable offenses, we're talking more serious crimes here, bail is not a guarantee at all. It's up to the judge. They have the discretion and they're going to weigh a bunch of factors. Is the person a flight risk? Are they a danger to others? Things like that.
And that's exactly why the very first thing a good lawyer is going to ask is the offense bailable or non-bailable? The answer to that one question pretty much decides the entire game plan, from how quickly you need to act to what your chances of success even are. All right, so now that we know about the types of offenses, let's look at the different kinds of bail that are actually available. You can think of these as different tools in a legal toolkit, and each one is designed for a very specific job. We're going to break down the four main types. There's regular bail, which is the one most people think of. Then there's anticipatory bail, for when you think trouble's on the horizon. Default bail, which is a right that can kick in after some time passes. And finally, interim bail, which is more of a temporary fix.
Regular bail is pretty much what it sounds like. It's the standard, common type of bail you apply for after someone has already been arrested and is in custody.
But what if the arrest hasn't happened yet? What if you have a really strong feeling that it's about to? Maybe you know you're about to be accused of something serious, something non-bailable. Do you just have to sit around and wait for that knock on the door? No way. This is where anticipatory bail comes in. It's a proactive move, a preemptive strike really. You can go to a higher court and ask for bail in anticipation of being arrested. If the judge grants it, it means that if and when you are arrested, you can be released on bail right away. Okay, next up is default bail. Now this one's interesting. The law basically puts a timer on the police investigation when someone's in jail. If the police can't file their final report within 60 or 90 days, it depends on how serious the crime is, the accused gets an automatic right to bail. It's like the system itself says, okay, time's up. You have to let them out for now. And finally, we've got interim bail. Look, sometimes a judge just needs more time to think about a complicated bail application. So while they're considering all the arguments, they might grant interim bail for just a short period, maybe a few days or a couple of weeks. It's like a temporary relief, a placeholder, until they can make the final call. So, you know what bail is, you know the different types, but who's the one who actually has the power to say yes? The list of people who can grant bail is actually a bit longer than most people realize.
Yeah, it's not just a judge in a big, intimidating courtroom. Depending on the situation, bail can be granted by a police officer, a magistrate, a sessions court, or a high court. Basically, you have different levels of courts that handle increasingly serious cases and appeals.
And get this is a huge one that a lot of people miss. For those less serious, bailable offenses, the police themselves can grant bail. This can happen right there at the police station, and it can save a ton of time, money, and anxiety. It's a key shortcut to know about. Okay, so you got bail. Huge sigh of relief, right? It's a massive win. But listen,
It's not over, not by a long shot. Getting out of jail is a conditional release, and it comes with a very strict set of rules you have to follow, no exceptions. These are some of the most common strings attached. The person on bail has to cooperate with the police, they absolutely cannot try to talk to witnesses or mess with evidence, and they might not be allowed to leave town. And the big one, the most important one, they have to show up for every single court date. No excuses. And I can't stress this enough. Violating any of these conditions is a huge deal. The prosecutor can march right back into court, tell the judge what happened, and ask for the bail to be canceled. And if that happens, a warrant goes out and the person gets rearrested and sent right back to jail. So in the end, bail is so much more than just a get-out-of-jail card. It's a bridge back to a temporary kind of freedom. But it's a bridge that's built on trust and a whole lot of responsibility, because getting out is just the first step. Staying out, well, that's the real challenge.